Good evening. Your time is 8 p.m. and you're watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime, channel 294 on DSTV. With me, Wadzanai Sansole. These are your top stories tonight. President Mnangagwa has expressed concern over local authorities that are failing to produce up-to-date audited financial statements, warning that decisive action may soon be taken to enforce accountability and transparency. Newsplus will give you highlights from his address at the 2025 edition of the All Councillors Indaba held in Bulawayo earlier today. We shall also look at the latest figures on AIDS-related deaths, showing a worrying trend which may threaten some of the gains Zimbabwe has made in fighting HIV and AIDS. Newsplus has details on the recovery of over 160 second bales following a raid on a second-hand smuggling syndicate at a house in Dalesford suburb in the early hours of today. And in sport, can Sables make impact at Rugby Africa Cup? We now take a close look at the stories making the headlines tonight. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has expressed concern over local authorities that are failing to produce up-to-date audited financial statements, warning that decisive action may soon be taken to enforce accountability and transparency. The president was speaking during the launch of the Minimum Service Delivery Standards Framework and the Urban State Land Management Policy in Bulawayo today. His remarks signal growing frustration within central government over financial indiscipline and the lack of transparency in some local authorities, challenges that continue to undermine service delivery and development.
However, as councillors, you came from the people. You were elected by the people. You campaigned among the people. You promised to deliver. So, for whatever you are doing as a councillor, must be guided by the best interests of those who put you there.
Now, President Mnangagwa also emphasized the need for local authorities to prioritize service delivery and enforce bylaws that protect the environment. The president's call comes amid government's broader drive to professionalize public service delivery and restore public confidence in local governance structures.
Poor waste management practices, sand poachers, and other environmental delinquents should be severely penalized. Within our local authorities, individuals and the corporates with exemplary behavior and initiatives in preserving the environment should equally be incentivized. These incentives and disincentives should be buttressed by community awareness initiatives on environmental issues, including observancy of the National Cleanup Day. I introduced Friday as a cleanup day, which has now almost died. But it is necessary that rural councils, urban councils should find a way of making sure that your own environments are kept clean. To sit down with ourselves and agree how we maintain the localities or the areas under which you supervise.
We now give you some highlights from the president's speech at the 2025 edition of the All Councillors Indaba. And now to discuss some of the very important things that came out during President Mnangagwa's interface with councillors and other issues surrounding service delivery, we are joined live by Ruben Akili, Director of the Combined Harare Residents Association. Good evening, Ruben. Thank you for joining us here on Newsplus. How is the city's failure to produce up-to-date financial statements and the lack of accountability affecting service delivery?
As the Combined Harare Residents Association, the failure by the local authority to produce financial statements and even audited accounts have dented, the trust between the local authority and the residents. Residents no longer trust the financial management within the city of Harare, and because they have not been failing. And then this can also be seen by, revenue collection. People are no longer paying rates because they no longer trust the institution, and again, because the local authority perpetually has failed to then produce financial statements. And again, the city's failure to then, address the issue of financial statements, the local authority resources will continue to hemorrhage or bleed. Because when you produce or when you do audits each and every year, you can then be able to plug in revenue leakages. But unfortunately, because for the past, I would say 3 years, the local authority has not been audited. Hence, you actually see that the gap in terms of ensuring that the those gaps in financial management are closed. They continue to each and every year. Hence, you actually see that they've been manipulated by different, it might be, corrupt elements within the local authority. Hence, you actually see that this has also impacted, in terms of, impacted social service delivery.
So tell me, Ruben, how can the government and local authorities promote participatory budgeting and inclusive decision-making in urban governance?
As the Combined Harare Residents Association, the issue of participatory and inclusive municipal budgeting is very, very key. Over the years, we have seen, budgets both at the center, or when I say the center, both at national level, and even local authority budgets, where budgets have been conducted, and when budgets have been, budget consultations have been done, you actually see that one of the major challenges we have faced, the process has not been inclusive to ensure that different sectors of the society are catered for in terms of participating in these processes. But also on the other end, the outcome of these, budget consultation meetings, the budgets have not been reflecting, the aspirations of residents, or rather, the budgets have not been indicating or, having the footprint or the voice of residents. Hence, at the end of the day, you actually see that the budget themselves have not been responsive to the issues which are affecting different marginalized communities. So, as from a CRA perspective, we strongly believe that participatory municipal budgeting using the bottom-up approach is very, very key.
And so what do you think is the place of public-private partnerships in urban development, and how can all these partnerships be fostered and actually supported?
Public-private partnerships are very, very key in ensuring that service provision improves. But again, they don't need to be, the agreements, they don't need to be exploitative. When I say exploitative, they don't need also to hemorrhage resources from the local authority. There are models in terms of public-private partnerships. We've got the build, own, operate, transfer. We've got the build, operate, transfer. And again, when these partnerships are entered, those who enter into this partnership needs also to honor these agreements. I think that is what is very, very important, because public-private partnerships can improve social service delivery. But again, the frameworks around such agreements are very, very key, because some of the frameworks they end up marginalizing, further marginalizing the marginalized communities due to the frameworks. I'll give you an example. If water is privatized, through private sector participation, because private companies operate from a profit motive, again, you actually see that some of the marginalized sectors of communities our pensioners, our our grandmothers, some of them will not be able to have the ability to pay. Hence, they are then cannot be able then to access the services. So again, it is very, very important that the frameworks or the agreements of these public-private partnerships, they also need to ensure that all sectors of the society are catered for.
Thank you very much, Ruben. Appreciate your time. Now, Vice President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga has strongly condemned corrupt business people with no traceable capital or legitimate enterprises, describing them as a threat to national economic development and a bad example for the youth. The VP said those engaged in such practices will account for their economically corrosive actions. Dr. Chiwenga was speaking at the Zimbabwean National Chamber of Commerce annual conference in Victoria Falls earlier today. Now, the conference brings together private businesses and policymakers and seeks to provide a platform for interactions to foster national economic development as envisioned by President Mnangagwa. Still on our top stories, Zimbabwe has recorded an increase in AIDS-related deaths this year, with 5,932 lives lost between January and June. Addressing journalists at an HIV-related stigma and discrimination media training workshop in the capital, Health and Childcare Minister Dr. Douglas Mombeshora expressed concern over the rise of more than 200 deaths compared to the same period last year. We get the details from our correspondent, Talent Gore.
Zimbabwe's progress in the fight against HIV remains under threat as funding constraints continue to undermine the country's response efforts. With AIDS-related deaths on the rise, the government says it is stepping up measures to preserve the progress made so far.
Yet our gains remain fragile. Between January and June this year, Zimbabwe recorded 5,932 AIDS-related deaths compared to 5,712 in the same period in 2024, an increase of 220 deaths, reminding us our work is still not done.
The government faces a mammoth task to increase domestic funding, a task that will help Zimbabwe end HIV. Currently, an estimated 1.3 million people are living with HIV, and over 96% of them are on antiretroviral therapy. For those living with HIV, continued government support and funding are critical to maintaining access to life-saving treatment.
This rise is not due to partial withdrawal of partner support. By the time key partners like US government paused or exited some funding, our institutions had adequate ARV supplies. Our systems have shown resilience, and we continue to monitor closely to ensure uninterrupted treatment.
To protect ARV stockpiles and ensure service continuity, the government has mobilized local resources, including sin taxes on alcohol, tobacco, sugary drinks, and the AIDS levy. However, apart from funding, stigma and discrimination are derailing the gains being made in HIV interventions.
And we did a follow-up study in 2022. Unfortunately, the stigma index or the stigma experiences among people living with HIV increased to 69.7%. Yet we are supposed to be decreasing stigma and discrimination.
The stigma index finding revealed that more males, 58.3%, than females, 50.8% respondents, expressed difficulty in telling people about their HIV positive status.
When we asked people, it came out that males found it very difficult to then share their positive HIV status with people. And what does it mean? If I have a sexual partner and I don't know his status, I know my status, the chances of me disclosing are high, and I expose that person to HIV infection, which is a problem that we need to address. And we also had more females hiding their HIV status from others. So vice versa, we also have women hiding their status.
As the fight continues, calls have been made for the media to advance health equity, dispelling myths and amplifying the resilience of those affected by HIV. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Talent Gore in Harare.
Now, still to come, police bust second-hand smuggling syndicate.
Are you a player in Zimbabwe's media and broadcasting sector? Whether you're on radio, TV, print, online, in academia, or the private sector, your voice matters. The Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe, BARZ, is conducting a national stakeholder survey to understand stakeholder needs and preferences regarding compliance data with the aim of improving its accessibility, format, and exploring potential monetization strategies. We want to hear from you, the content creators, broadcasters, publishers, digital innovators, and industry partners who keep our media ecosystem alive. Help us shape a future where our media is not only vibrant, but financially sustainable. To participate, visit our website at www.bars.co.zw. Scroll down to Featured Resources at the bottom of the homepage and select June 16, 2025. Your input will help develop a new framework for investing in, managing, and growing Zimbabwe's media industry. BARZ, celebration and expression of our cultural identity through broadcasting.
Asilwela ukunqoba kuphela, kepha silwela ukwakha isizwe esinohlonze. Sekunjalo.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsplus this Thursday evening. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, police in Gweru have busted a suspected second-hand smuggling syndicate, arresting 2 suspects and recovering over 160 second-hand bales. The bust was made at a house in Dalesford suburb in the early hours of today. Officer Commanding Gweru District Urban Chief Superintendent Dr. Leon Marungedze confirmed the arrest of 2 people.
They gathered that there are some people who are smuggling goods into our area. We are saying, as the police, we had to deploy our police officers to come up with some investigations, and I can safely say that tonight, that's when we to make a breakthrough and recovered all these smuggled goods from Mozambique, and we have managed to recover them at one of the houses here in Peru. What I can safely say is that the government has got a zero tolerance to smuggling, zero tolerance to undeclared goods. So, in pursuance of the government's directive, we are saying we will ensure that all those perpetrators who are engaged in these activities to immediately consider other ways of surviving.
Now, moving on, small to medium enterprises in Zimbabwe are a vital part of the country's economy, contributing significantly to employment and GDP, as well as employment creation. Despite these wins, the sector still faces a myriad of challenges highlighted in the State of Manufacturing Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises in Zimbabwe 2023 survey. Faith Nyaude paints the picture for us.
This is Eastgate Market in the heart of the capital of Harare, Zimbabwe. This marketplace has provided people with a chance to put food on the table, and also has provided for them an opportunity to build bigger and better dreams, not only for themselves but for their families. Now, this place allows customers to choose from a wide array of products, hence the diversity that comes with it. But behind this vibrancy and behind all this color that you see lies a myriad of challenges. For entrepreneurs like Tachenda, who have been in the business for over 5 years now, it is built on blood, sweat, and tears.
kana kuhembe kusiri kunza mari kuinuka kunonza something kushi kunonza something.
A new survey on Zimbabwe's manufacturing MSMEs reveals that many like Tatenda have been quietly enduring over the years. The majority of these businesses remain micro in size and lack not only financial strength but also accessible markets. According to the survey, 54.5% believe that it is more beneficial to be informal than formal.
They generally remain micro, that is very small. But what we would want is a country that has got structured as always companies that are able to transform our economy by adding more value.
74% of manufacturing SMEs are not registered, while among the registered, 73% do not have local authority licenses. The informality for some is intentional, with many owners saying it's simply cheaper and more flexible to stay that way. But that flexibility comes at a cost. Most MSMEs have no social security for their workers, no legal contracts.
Do you have just a simple basic contract? The contracts are not there. We assist them to draw up very, very simple contracts, because the next moment they have got disagreements with their employees, they are being taken to the NECs.
Even so, a silver lining exists. The survey shows a surprising level of workspace stability and a strong willingness to engage with incubation hubs for formal bodies if support is made accessible.
Yes, MSMEs are getting together to form organizations, but to actually meaningfully collaborate is difficult. Why? This is due to significant informalization, lack of standardization, and therefore mistrust on the quality of the next MSME.
Now, these SMEs are innovative, resilient, and essential to this economy. Their reach goes beyond urban centers, contributing more equitable income distribution. In Zimbabwe, SMEs are a primary source of jobs, helping drive economic growth. If these enterprises are to thrive and not just survive, they need an environment where they are able to do so. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Faith Nyaude at Eastgate Market in Harare.
Now, in a development set to boost Zimbabwe's renewable energy, a Chinese company, JSD Solar, has announced a partnership with local licensed entrepreneurs in a number of solar energy initiatives. The following report gives us more on the partnership that was officially launched in Harare recently, signaling a new chapter for solar energy in the country.
The government is proactively promoting solar power through its National Renewable Energy Policy, NREP of 2019. The policy outlines ambitious targets for renewable energy. This includes a goal to achieve at least 16.5% of all electricity supplied from renewables by 2025 and 26.5% by 2030. To make this a reality, a Chinese company, JSD Solar, has joined hands with local entrepreneurs in the energy sector to help to reduce the country's reliance on traditional power grids. Joanna Wan, regional manager of JSD Solar, expressed her enthusiasm about the collaboration, highlighting its potential to revolutionize Zimbabwe's energy landscape.
For example, we can see the Zimbabwe market. Maybe we can compare some of our inverters, the function with another brand inverters functions. For a company, we don't want to do the function decrease. We want to keep the quality. We want to keep all the functions. Maybe someone is thinking some of the function is not necessary, then they can decrease it and save some of the cost. But for a company, we want to maintain the same quality, same function, and provide a good price also.
City's Chief Executive, Nathan Nyamukapa, emphasized that this partnership will enable Zimbabwe to distribute reliable batteries and offer an alternative stable source of power for households and businesses.
Very hopeful about the future with this GST brand. It's a very good brand which is addressing the needs of the solar market in Zimbabwe. It's also offering a lot in terms of our safety, and also we had the chance to tell people what's inside the batteries.
This collaboration is expected to not only create jobs but also foster innovation within the local solar market, empowering local entrepreneurs to play a key role in the distribution and installation of solar products.
We have chosen JSD Solar because of their products. My products are robust. I say my products are more at market. I know I'm a ginger acho, my counterfeit. It's a 4 kilowatt USD 4 kilowatt. Now it's a 5.5 kilowatt USD 5.5 kilowatt. But with the JSD, my products are robust and they offer ma-warranties ari right.
As Zimbabwe continues to navigate power challenges, the partnerships between JSD Solar and local entrepreneurs represent a hopeful step towards a sustainable energy future, positioning the country to lead in solar energy adoption in the region.
We now give you a story on villagers in Mudzi West constituency that recently convened at Chingwena Secondary School to witness the graduation of over 500 graduates trained in various practical skill courses such as welding, sewing and detergent making, among others. Now, the government-supported skills training program is aimed at breaking the cycle of unemployment in the district.
Among the 560 graduates, a majority were women of various ages who were excited to earn skills which would enable them to provide for their families. The practical skills courses included driving, detergent making, sewing, braiding, catering, and nursery school teaching. Patience Chasakara, who graduated from braiding and catering courses, said she feels empowered.
Ndakaongorora kuti zvese izvi zvine chekuita nemubato wemaoko, saka ndakaona kuti ndikazviita ndokwanisa kuzvimiririra, kuzviraramira semunhukadzi, uyezve ndokwanisa kutoendesa vana kuchikoro, ende zvakangonakawo kuzvimpawo semunhukadzi, haunyanyotarisirwa pasi even munharaunda.
The skills training program was facilitated by local charity organization, the Tonganyika Trust, in collaboration with Mudzi West legislator Knowledge Kaitano. After graduation, the graduates are given a starter pack with relevant material to enable them to start earning an income.
Tonganyika Trust yakandibatsira kuti zvandisina ikundibatsira kuti ndizviwane kuti ndienderere mberi nebasa rangu. Because ndiri weudhandi asi ndezvikwanisiro zvakandishotera, asi Tonganyika yaribatsira kuti ita so yaripa mapulazi andasingazive.
The graduates were drawn from 3 out of the 7 wards in Mudzi West constituency. Mudzi West legislator Knowledge Kaitano says plans have been put in place by his team to roll out the training program to the remaining 5 wards in the constituency. The aim is to reduce unemployment in the area.
The program surely will reduce the level of unemployment in our constituents, in Mudzi district, because our people have been capacitated to become micro businesses. So in essence, they are going to be business owners, although at a very micro level. And the level of unemployment has been reduced drastically by these kind of programs.
With government recently releasing constituency development funds, a number of construction projects are earmarked for Mudzi West. This provides a ready market for some of the graduates from the skills training program.
And in this constituency, we are currently doing a lot of building. We are building classroom blocks. So the people that are welding the window frames and the door frames, they actually have a ready market because they're going to sell to us to then use in our construction.
As skills training ignites a spark of opportunity, the people of Mudzi West are charting a new course towards a future where self-reliance thrives.
Now, the outgoing chairperson of the SADC Adjudication Committee has urged for a broader implementation of technology in news. The Regional Adjudicating Committee emphasized the importance of embracing artificial intelligence to improve information dissemination after completing a 3-day adjudication process for works published between January 2024 and December 2024. Now, the SADC Media Awards competition serves as a crucial instrument for enhancing the region's voice on social, cultural, economic, climate and political matters and their impact on member states. The Regional Adjudication Committee, RAC, expressed satisfaction with the rise in participation and the quality of the entries.
there has been an increase of not only participants that have submitted their works over the years, but also the increase of member states that have taken part in this SADC Media Awards. So that speaks directly to enhanced regional integration that is in line with the Regional Indicative Strategic Plan for 2020 to 2030.
Now, the results of the competition winners will be revealed at the 45th SADC Heads of State meeting in Madagascar this August. Olivia Rakotonirina from Madagascar will assume the role of chairperson, succeeding Zimbabwe's Oline Ndori. Zimpaper's Rangamataire, who was also a member of the RAC, stressed the importance of diversifying the award categories to promote inclusivity.
Currently, we had the traditional categories of radio, print, television, and photography. But I think there is need to diversify in order to bring in multimedia content. You are aware that most of our audiences are now consuming their content from their mobile phones, from their laptops. So the use of multimedia content as a category on its own, I think it's essential.
When Newsplus returns, we'll give you updates from the world around us.
Win big in the EcoCash Chakachaya Ziawaku EcoCash promotion with over 200,000 winners. Earn at least 20 points when you cash in, send money, buy airtime or data, make payments, receive money from the diaspora, or receive your salary via EcoCash. And you could be in the running to win an all-expenses-paid trip to watch an AFCON match in Morocco, a holiday for two in Dubai, solar kits, cows, fridges, gas stoves, motorbikes, cash, airtime, and so much more. It's simple. Simply transact, earn points, and win in the Chakachaya Ziawaku EcoCash promotion. Dial *151# or use the EcoCash app now. EcoCash. Live life the EcoCash way.
You're watching Newsplus, and we're coming to you live from Harare. And we now take a look at what's happening globally. 29 children who were taking their school exams in the Central African Republic were killed and dozens were injured after a nearby explosion caused panic. The blast on the second day of the high school finals on Wednesday occurred at an electricity transformer. Now, the incident reportedly triggered panic and a deadly stampede among the approximately 5,300 students present. According to initial reports, technicians from the electricity company were working on a transformer when it exploded. Now, emergency services, including firefighters and medical teams, responded quickly to the scene. Officials launched an investigation to find out what caused the explosion, and President Faustin Archange Touadera has declared a period of national mourning.
Ce qui s'est passé, c'est vraiment une tragédie. On était dans la salle, on était en train de composer. C'était l'épreuve de l'histoire et de la géographie. On était rentré à peine 30 minutes. Après, on avait entendu un bruit. Un bruit s'est claqué. Et on nous a dit que c'était le transport qui s'est explosé. Et du coup, tout le monde était rempli de stupeur. On commençait à courir dans tous les sens. On courait dans tous les sens et ça a créé des préjudices. Il y a parmi nous des morts, il y a des blessés, il y a des gens qui ont perdu leur téléphone, qui ont perdu la connaissance, qui ont perdu tout ce qu'ils ont su, tout ce qu'ils ont apporté sur eux, j'allais dire.
Now, a rare spell of hot and humid weather has hit parts of Ontario and Quebec provinces in eastern Canada. An outdoor advertising screen in downtown Toronto showed temperatures of 35 degrees Celsius on Monday, with high humidity adding to the discomfort as the city recorded its highest temperature since July 13, 2016. And according to Environment Canada, Pearson International Airport recorded a temperature of 36 degrees, breaking the previous record of 32.8 degrees that was set there on June 23, 1921. Now, the local power supplier said the extreme hot weather caused power blackouts for more than 2,500 users in downtown Toronto.
You go out in that sun, and you can add another 6, 7, 8 degrees to the stress on the body. And that's why it's a real health risk for us.
I couldn't believe that I never experienced such heat in Toronto.
Oh, really?
And so it was, and then I checked the weather forecast and it said it felt like 46 and it felt right, so.
Now, the town of Zamalka, once a bustling suburb in eastern Ghouta near Damascus, now lies in ruins, a silent witness to years of war. Yet amid the rubble, a quiet resurgence unfolds as Syrian refugees return to reclaim shattered lives on this scarred land.
لا ما حدا بيكون طالع من بلده مبسوط بحرب، يعني احنا طالعين غصبا عنا مو بكيفنا. يعني اكيد رح يكون انه يعني المعنويات صفر، كل شيء محطم بحياتنا اصلا ما مفكرين كنا نطلع لهنيك يعني على هذيك البلاد. فالحمد لله والله هو يعني عانينا تعذبنا، بس انه تأهرمنا وتعذبنا هاي شيء اكيد ما في اصلا سوري طلع برا اللي ما تعذب وعانى يعني.
Still on our international news, Democratic People's Republic of Korea leader Kim Jong-un oversaw the inauguration of the Wonsan-Kalma Coastal Tourist Zone today. Now, the seaside development on the country's east coast has long been envisioned to promote Pyongyang's tourism ambitions. The event included slides, fireworks, and cultural performances, culminating in a vibrant grand finale celebration. Kim expressed a great satisfaction at the completion of the resort complex, which is designed to host up to 20,000 visitors. He reportedly pledged to accelerate the development of additional large-scale tourism projects across the country. Still on our global stories, Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has sharply criticized US President Donald Trump, saying he ought to spend less time online and act more like a head of state. This was in response to the US President's comments on the Israel-Iran conflict. Now, Lula da Silva's administration emphasized the urgent need for a diplomatic solution in the Middle East that breaks the cycle of violence and opens an opportunity for peace negotiations. Meanwhile, in a statement released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Brazil, the government strongly condemned the military attacks by Israel, as well as those by the United States on Iranian nuclear bases, which Brazil considered a violation of Iran's sovereignty and international law.
E nesse mundo conturbado, mundo em que você tem presidente de uma nação do tamanho dos Estados Unidos, que deveria primar pelo discurso, deveria pensar o que falar, deveria ser menos internet e ser mais chefe de Estado, deveria pensar mais em livre comércio, deveria pensar mais no multilateralismo, deveria pensar muito mais na paz. O que a gente vê todo santo dia na imprensa? A necessidade de uma desgraçada de uma manchete. Que eu cansei de discutir com a Embrapa a questão da mamona. Nós já tivemos presidente assim, e vocês sabem que já tivemos assim. Ou seja, o que menos interessa é a verdade. O que menos interessa é o interesse do país.
Experts weigh in on the new mining bill. That story and more right ahead in business.
Crowd goes absolutely emphatic. He has done it.
for more on SuperSport, the only place to watch all the FIFA Club World Cup.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
We've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
Ariston Holdings Limited has flipped the switch and has gone all solar now. The agricultural group has completed its migration to 100% solar energy, powering operations across its tea, macadamia and banana divisions. ZTN Prime's Nyasha Chawatama toured Ariston's Southdown estate in Chipinge.
In the heart of Chipinge, at Ariston Holdings Limited's Southdown estate, the sun is now more than a climate factor. It's the new engine for production. The estate, a major hub for tea, macadamia and banana farming, has successfully transitioned its factories to 100% solar energy, marking a significant milestone in Zimbabwe's shift to renewable energy in agriculture.
This system is already grid-tied, so everything that we don't use here at Southdown, we send it to the grid to try and mitigate the challenges of load shedding. We are currently self-sustaining in terms of energy. The factory can run off-grid.
The group's largest investment to date, a fully integrated solar plant installed in July 2023, now powers key operations. In the face of persistent power cuts nationwide, this strategic energy shift has yielded notable financial savings while ensuring operational consistency.
Inverters in there, and we also have got bypass cabinets that detects which source of energy to use on a daily basis, with our first option being solar, because we've already bought this power. Then we have got an option to use the grid should the weather remain overcast.
But it's not just about energy that's evolving at Ariston. Ariston is now employing over 1,600 people at peak season, predominantly from Chipinge, driving transformation in Manicaland province through job creation. Meanwhile, Ariston products are making headway into new regional markets.
Some of the value chain partners we are working with in Zimbabwe are already active in Zambia, and we've got a good relationship with them in Zimbabwe, and we can piggyback on that relationship to expand into the Zambian market. Then after Zambia, we'll look at markets like South Africa. Why South Africa? South Africa, when you look at South Africa as compared to Zimbabwe, South Africa is midway between a first world country.
Ariston's pivot to solar comes at a time when climate resilience is critical for Zimbabwean agriculture. With diversified production including avocados, maize and soya, and a renewed focus on water conservation, the company is redefining smart farming. In a dynamic agricultural economy, Ariston Holdings is proving that the future is green, digital, and solar-powered.
Now, miners are still digesting the sweeping reforms introduced in Zimbabwe's newly gazetted Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill. The bill arrives at a time when the sector is demanding greater policy certainty and investor confidence. Our business reporter Melissa Chatikobo has more on what this could mean for this mining economy.
The bill, which replaces the Colonial Era Mines and Minerals Act of 1961, introducing key changes, which include creating a new digital mining register and streamlining mining titles into just 3 categories, to require holders of mining rights to work their claims rather than allowing them to preserve their title by paying annual fees, promoting local ownership by ensuring Zimbabweans benefit more directly at the entry level of mining operations. Thomas Luciano, former Mbada chief executive with 25 years in the industry, has witnessed several attempts to reform mining laws. He says the latest bill captures the realities and modern challenges of the sector. While it's a welcome step, Luciano knows that miners are still unpacking its full implications.
The major highlights in this new bill, though we have not yet gone through it in detail, it's a long document, but we can see that it is attempted to address the perennial conflicts and fights between farmers and miners. This had now become a major issue that was threatening to boil over.
As the country's mining sector grows, so does the need for legislation that protects investment, workers, the environment, and national interests.
All these decades, it has been overtaken by events. There have been developments that have happened, a lot of them, that had rendered that particular act almost irrelevant in some sense. So with the coming in of this new amendment bill, it's now modernized. It is up to date with the latest developments in the mining industry.
Global interest in Zimbabwe's minerals is growing, especially in the lithium space. Market watchers say a predictable legal environment is essential to unlock that growth.
It's about governance and transparency, where mining rights are given to people who deserve them after proper due diligence. So this is a good initiative by the government of Zimbabwe going forward as it brings sanity in the mining sector.
The Mines and Minerals Bill is expected to come under scrutiny in Parliament in the coming weeks, with various stakeholders expected to give input. For now, the mining sector is watching closely. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chatkubo in Harare.
Coming up is a story on Zim artists on the global stage of tourism.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
We now take a look at what's happening in the world of entertainment right here on Newsplus. The vibrant cultural landscape of Zimbabwe has been profoundly showcased to the world through the extraordinary talents of its artists, who have left a mark on the global stage. Renowned Mbira players such as Mangwenya, Nyamashisha and the late Mbuya Stella Chiweshe have mesmerized audiences with their traditional Zimbabwean music, while visual artists like Valentine Magutsa have showcased the country's rich heritage. And in addition, talented musicians have further enriched Zimbabwe's cultural identity, contributing to the nation's thriving artistic scene that has captivated audiences worldwide. As Zimbabwe continues to leverage its unique cultural identity to attract global attention, it is imperative to recognize and support these artists who serve as vital conduits for the nation's cultural narrative. In other news, after the success of their first edition, Motomoto Festival is coming back in 2025 on the 19th of July in Germany. Now, Motomoto is more than just a festival. It is where music culture comes alive under the skies, and it's a celebration of roots, rhythm, and resilience. Artists lined up for this event in Germany are Mokumba, Awakiwe, Feli Nandi, Mary Annibal, and Nisha Tees, among other artists. Now, lawyers for the prosecution have given their closing arguments in the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial in New York. The prosecution has told the jury that Combs is the leader of a criminal enterprise and alleged that he doesn't take no for an answer. Combs is charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The jury has heard from 34 witnesses so far, including ex-girlfriends, former employees of Combs, male escorts, and federal agents. Combs has denied all charges, and if found guilty, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, up next, the sport. From July 8 to 19, the Rugby Africa Cup 2025 takes over Kampala, Uganda, as the contestants best clash for a direct ticket to Australia, the Men's Rugby World Cup in 2027. Now for Zimbabwe, this is perhaps a crucial tournament that defines the future. If the Sables are able to retain the cup, on top of the glory, World Cup qualification comes with a lot of benefits for the local game. Now we are joined live by Lance Chihande, who is in Lublin in Poland, to discuss more about the Sables team that's currently in camp here in Zimbabwe. Lance, good evening. What are the chances the Sables can win the cup again and go on to qualify for the World Cup?
What a fantastic opportunity that the Zimbabwe Sables have here in order for them to defend the Rugby Africa title and also qualify for the World Cup. So we all know that if Zimbabwe manages to go and win the Rugby Africa again, it's an automatic qualification for the Rugby World Cup. And judging from the squad that they currently have, their chances are very, very high. It's still the same squad than last year with a couple of more additions, but I'll dive into that later. But the opponents that we're facing Morocco on the opening game of the tournament, which is a team that we have played with in Harare Sports Club, if I'm not mistaken, about 5 years ago. And we managed to come up with a draw in that one, but that was 5 years ago, and this is a totally different Sables side altogether. Kenya is also on the verge of having very good performances of late, but preparation is the key important thing here for Coach Pete Bernard's man. He has managed to retrieve extra talent. He has managed to put in good work to get the guys prepared for this amazing tournament that is coming in 2 weeks' time, if not in a fortnight from now. Yes, so yes, the chances are very high that the Sables do have a great performance. They do play several teams that might look very slippery on paper, but to be honest, we've got a fair chance. We've got a very good squad, balanced, young, and the experience also in which I will shed a bit of light on later.
Now, Lance, obviously a lot has changed since the last time when they were victorious in the same cup. You can go ahead and talk about this current squad.
Also looking at the camp, we've got Brian Lang, who I've seen that has been an interesting addition to the Sables camp. We have also Kumalo, who was a captain in the last test match that Zimbabwe played, and he's a very fantastic backline player, a very dynamic, good in adapting to each and every role he's given to play within the team. What's also interesting here is that we understand that the Zimbabwe Cheetahs went for the Rugby Africa Sevens tournament, and through that the squad also had the likes of Blythe Maveseru, who plays for the Sharks, as well as Sigauke, who was recently champions with his university team, and also in South Africa, and also the addition of Tapio Mafura also in the mix. And add that to the already well-prepared Sables with Matthew Manduoma, with Victor Mpunga, who's also flown from France to participate in the prestigious Rugby Africa Cup. We are well prepared, and I can see from the probables and possibles game that was played last week, a couple of more interesting characters that were also playing part in that game that could be added into the final Sable squad. So we are yet to see the final squad yet, but from what I'm seeing right now, it shows evident that the Sables are ready, and it's going to be an interesting tournament, and we'll be watching and supporting all the way.
Thank you for sharing all of that with us. That was Lance Chihande, a former club rugby player, giving us more details on the Sables preparations ahead of the Rugby Africa Cup. Now, Dynamos travel to Kariba in what will be a big test for Saul Chaminuka as he returns to a community that he almost made history with 11 years ago. This time around, he returns with the hope of collecting maximum points for Dynamos to keep their survival bid on track. We get more in the following report.
Dynamos go up against ZPC Kariba in what is a must-win encounter for the side, which has experienced their way start to the top flight in years. For Saul Chaminuka, the return to Kariba is not only emotional, but also an uphill task as they are out to collect maximum points so as to move away from the drop zone.
It is always an emotional return. And now I am at Dynamos. I am going there to doing business, and our God allowing us, I want 3 points. And if possible, even 6 points in the game that we are playing this weekend, because I believe we need it more than Kariba, and we are preparing. We definitely will take the game to them. We are not going to play as visitors in Kariba. We will go at them, and they need to have answers, and I am positive that we also have answers for them.
The side finds itself flirting with the drop zone as they have only 2 wins this season, and Chaminuka is optimistic that they'll get a positive result, but bemoan this side's failure to come back as well as keep clean sheets.
I have confidence that we will be able to, going round, if we can not go over what would be obstacles in that game. And one thing I know is we are going to scoring goals in that game. And again, I think our biggest undoing is after scoring, we are failing to maintaining the lead or retaining, that which we would have gotten. And I am sure this time around, we score first, we will keep it for good.
Dynamos are yet to win away from home this season, and will be hoping to finally break the duck as they face a ZPC Kariba side that is yet to lose at Nyamunga.
I have 1 loss there, I have 1 draw, and I also have 1 win. It's something that we should be able to be going over now. And it's not a question of fitness. I think it's the mental aspect. Right? What happens after we score? We are like we have invited problems, and since we started training yesterday, we've been trying to address that.
For Dynamos, this is more than just another fixture. It's a test of belief against the weight of numbers as they go up against a ZPC Kariba side that has been dominating at Nyamunga Stadium. For ZTN Prime, I am Tawanda Muntali.
Sri Lanka has become the latest country added to Zimbabwe's busy 2025 schedule, with the Asian former champions expected to play the Chevrons in a 5-match red ball series. Now, the tour will consist of 2 one-day internationals slated for August 29 and 31, and 3 T20 matches that will be held from September 3, 6 and 7. Now, all the matches will be held in the capital at Harare Sports Club. The T20I leg of the series holds particular importance for Zimbabwe, serving as vital preparation ahead of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Africa Regional Final, which the country will host from 19 September to 4 October. Meanwhile, the Chevrons are bracing for world champions South Africa, who they face starting on Saturday in the first of the 2 test matches at Queen's in Bulawayo. Now, Mbare House Jadal Football Academy is this Friday set to host a send-off dinner for its 18-member under-12 team that is set to travel to China from the 6th of July to the 16th of August for the Taiwu Cup and the 42nd edition of the 100 tournament. Academy founder Walter Musanu says the team is ready to go and will be banking on the squad that did duty last year and will be looking over their shoulders as they won honours last year.
We're all selected on merit, and most of them, most probably, they traveled the previous year, and they are all prepared. And we have few additionals of the kids because we have different age groups in which we participate in that tournament. Well, we are a target in terms of after lifting up the trophy. last year, which is actually the big trophy, big tournament, which consists of over 300, 400 teams, each age group. I think we need to just go and keep our head down, especially those who won the 2013 group. Keep our head low, and we need to try and push ourselves a bit more because we don't know the group we're going to be staged in.
And that's a wrap on this Thursday evening's bulletin. I'm Wazanai Sansole. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.